Okay, Nate, you should have full control.
Okay, let me know. You should be seeing my screen right now.
Yep.
Great. So my name is Nate Asbiel. I am here on behalf of Performance Systems Development and the Treat Energy Modeling Software. With me today is one of our building performance engineers, Jerome Gagliano. He is going to go over some of the particulars of Treat, but first I would like to give you guys just a quick high-level overview. So Treat is a DOE-approved weatherization assistance program tool for all residential building types. This includes single-family, low, mid, and high-rise multifamily, and mobile homes. Treat has been in the market for a little over 10 years now. We have served the New York market and Washington State and a variety of other state incentive-based programs. More information about the states and territories that Treat can be used with can be available. I'm hoping that we'll be able to share these presentations after the fact, and you can take a look at some of that information. Treat is fully HPXML 2.1 compliant, which is required by the California program, so you are all set there. Treat for single-family modeling supports a very simplified, streamlined process of modeling using our new Building Wizard tool. So using the new Building Wizard, users can make simple and fast models of buildings. The wizard takes some basic information such as weather, space construction, square footage of the house, lets you split up a few living units, and sort of gets you through all of the kind of basic data entry points in Treat. From there, you go back into the model, you simply add appliances and HVAC equipment, and you are all set to run your model with Treat. As was mentioned, Treat does support a calibration process. We call our process Treat True Up. The process is very straightforward. There's a utility bill uploader tool right within Treat. You can upload a year's worth of utility data, get real-time feedback on the accuracy of your model right in the user interface. We found through a study in the NYSERDA territory that model calibration significantly addresses realization rate error. To streamline the Treat process even more, users can fully customize a set of preferences in Treat. This is everything from fuels and rates, some default weather data, your top 20 surface constructions, windows, lighting, etc. All of this is designed so that you do not, as the user, need to work through our surface library each time, but you can simply select from a quick drop-down menu. That said, Treat has hundreds of surfaces available for use. They are all stored within Treat itself, and you can model just about anything you can think of. Treat reports export as PDF, Word, Excel, or raw data, depending on the report type. The Word reports especially are very nice for sales tools, can really help you further customize your reporting needs as you need. Again, Treat does support model calibration. You can also, a nice feature in Treat is that you can include health and safety inspections and improvements in your sales reports and your modeling. This is a great tool to help users absorb the cost of any health and safety inspections that might not necessarily be energy related, but you can show the customer that your energy improvements combined with these health and safety improvements are still a good investment in their home. Using Treat allows users to manage a variety of improvement scenarios within the same model. So within Treat, a user creates one base model. From that base model, they can add any number of improvements and, importantly, any number of combined packages. Packages are simply groups of improvements, so you can really show your customers a high level of detail and variety in your savings predictions. Treat gives real-time model feedback. This is a snapshot here of the Treat user interface. So you'll see this real-time model feedback is very important, especially for the true-up process. You can see your billing data right here and calibrate it to your model. As you work through the Treat UI, you get real-time feedback. By clicking Calculate Model, you can see exactly how your model looks without having to run a full report. Treat has 2 great customer-facing sales reports. Treat has about a little over 20 reports, some internal and external. For this, we wanted to focus on our 2 newest reports. The first is the Home Performance Report. This is our fully branded out report. You can change the name of any package right here to to call it whatever you want. Something that we like to recommend is people maybe try to sell a gold, a silver, and a bronze package. You can say, we suggest Performance Systems Development Gold. That's a nice little bit of branding. The front page of the report shows your estimated annual energy savings, shows the total costs of the project, breaks that savings down by fuel type. Whichever fuels you add into Treat that have savings will show up here. It's a great tool to help sell home performance jobs. This is a page from one of the, from the home performance report. So we see here, this is a hot water improvement. Treat will report on the existing conditions of the home, however they've been modeled. We see right here we have a natural gas storage water heater. It's installed in 1989 with a set point of 135 degrees. Depending on what improvements you make, you can describe those improvements right here in Treat. You can add some non-energy health and safety benefits if they exist. You note the costs. Treat analyzes the savings, and then you are able to report that to your customer. There are also some great general information sections that just help educate your customer about the specific benefits of each improvement. Again, these reports can be run as PDF or Word, so you can take some or all of this report and customize it as much as you like. Treat also supports an energy savings summary report. This is actually for program compliance in California. This is the report that contractors will use to calculate reimbursements for the program. This internal report lets you dive deeper into specific end uses for each fuel type. So we'll see right here, electricity is broken down into heating, cooling, domestic hot water, lighting, appliance, and other uses. This is, and then also broken down into total usage by end type, kilowatt hours or therms or gallons, what have you. This report can be generated, like all the other reports, in a variety of outputs. We like to recommend outputting it in Excel so that if you're going to do any further data manipulation, you can do it right in line there nice and easily. This last report that we wanted to focus on is called our Package Comparison Report. So this report is a great leave behind for your homeowners. Again, if we were talking about gold, silver, and bronze packages, you can show a variety of scenarios right in one table, show your homeowners exactly the breakdown of savings and costs and which different improvements are done in each package, and leave them something to think through before you come back and try to close your sale. So for the most important part that I'm sure everybody is most interested in, pricing. So Treat licenses are priced to own. There are no additional per model fees with Treat. Once you buy Treat, it is yours forever until the end of time or your computer fries. In California, we are offering a promotional discount right now where users purchase a full Treat license and a seat in one of our 6-hour training courses for $799. The 6-hour courses are worth 6 BPI CEUs if you're BPI certified. We're offering that training once a month for the next 3 months. The first training is actually coming up March 26th and 27th, so if anybody is interested in taking that training course, I would certainly recommend that you purchase your seat soon as it's filling up. The training is really designed to give you a start to finish with Treat, really educate the workforce and help support the program. So we really are looking forward to being able to work with some of you closer and get you squared away with Treat. Again, you can learn more by visiting psdconsulting.com/California. That is the end of my presentation, so I am going to hopefully kick things over to Jerome, or maybe one of the implementation staff could give me a hand here.
Nate, so I have just switched presenter privileges over to Jerome. Jerome, let me know if that doesn't work.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Everyone hear me? Okay. So I think we have about 15 minutes left. I'm not sure when we started exactly. Can you give me an idea, Leif, or someone?
You have about, well, you have at least 7 minutes.
before questions. Okay, so I'm going to take everyone through the new Building Wizard, throwing a few improvements at your home performance audit and generating the home performance report. I am going to go through this quickly, but effectively these are the steps you would do to capture the data from your audit. You know, a lot of it is defaulted, probably vented attic, because all these defaults can be set up in the preference file that Nate was describing earlier. And, you know, depending upon your housing stock, you might find a lot of similar homes. This is that drop-down menu that can be customized, as Nate was mentioning. So let's say this home has insulated walls and uninsulated attic. Let's see, yeah, maybe got a little insulation up there and an uninsulated floor over your crawl space, pretty typical. Concrete block walls and a dirt floor. Probably some older style double pane windows that are wood or vinyl. And from here, you effectively can model different shapes of homes. We try to convince people, you know, that's really too complex. Keep things as simple as possible in the shapes, because really the power of using a simple model is to calibrate it later on with utility data. And effectively in our trainings we'll talk about how we focus on putting the level of effort into the place where it's needed, where you're trying to make improvements and not spend a lot of time on things that really don't matter in the overall energy performance of the model or accuracy. So the new Building Wizard populates all the things you see that are checked, effectively the shell of the building and some lighting and appliances. Throw in your gas furnace is pretty typical. In that housing stock, maybe it's an 80%er. And the location of the system, the majority of the ductwork, probably in the vented attic, might have a 2.5-ton air conditioning unit. That's newer. And that's effectively all you need to put in your equipment. You can add in the equipment information as need be, and it's required by the program. I don't know, maybe a newer train system. There's smart defaults about your distribution system. They're put in the attic based upon the information you put in the previous screen. You might change these inputs and say that's, you know, the defaults are pretty reasonable, but if you're doing duct testing, you probably want to update the duct leakage numbers to reflect what you actually measured. The thermostat defaults to 65, heating only. This is pretty easy settings you can probably get from the homeowner to update those. Throw in your water heater. Again, most of this is going to be similar across a lot of the homes you go into. If you don't have the energy factor information, if it's not on the water heater, we do have libraries for all the equipment that are not manufacturer specific but are you know, description-wise specific, and can get you at least in the right ballpark of energy factors. And you can, you know, throw your information in there. Again, you can add in your other information that's needed. Maybe it's an old water heater. Again, defaults of pipe insulation and where it's located. Probably in this case, most of it's down in the crawl space if the water heater is located inside, and probably has some pipe wrap on it. There's some feedback to tell you gallons of water per day per person. 17 sounds pretty low to me. I might double that. Now I'm up near 30 gallons per day per person. That sounds, you know, pretty reasonable, but obviously that's gauged upon you knowing the homeowners and talking to them. Our lighting was defaulted in by the square footage, and that's a setting in your preference file. Appliances are defaulted in by your preference file. The idea being you want to get you're not necessarily upgrading your appliances, but to have correct internal gains, in other words, all the losses from these various appliances, and making sure your end uses make sense in the end, you want to probably adjust these things. But that's the stuff we'll cover in our training. But at this point, you can press Calculate Model, and you have a fully running calculated base load model. You get this feedback from the thing called the model inspector. It shows you the energy as predicted by the model for this baseline model. Question marks and check marks are just saying things are in order. Question marks are not errors, but simply warnings to say, hey, are you aware of this? You might say, yes, I am, no big deal. Yep, I know my heating system has more heating output capacity than is needed. Feedback on the unconditioned spaces. There's a lot of information in this model inspector, and it's a very useful tool to just quick checks on your model. Let's throw in a couple improvements. Sorry, like a heating plant improvement. New furnace, maybe it's $3,000. And a condensing furnace located in the same place. We have, capture the new make and model information, and let's say throw in, we're going to improve that ductwork for $1,000 while you're up there in the attic. Really insulate it and really seal all those big holes, and maybe throw in, you're going to also insulate that attic while you're up there. Maybe it's $2 a square foot because you're going to really fill it up with cellulose. You find the attic surface, and this is very quick the way I'm doing it, but this is exactly the stuff that we're going to show you in the trainings of how you would use the libraries, how you would use these filtering mechanisms to get to your improvement types this quickly. There's no reason you need to spend a lot of time building your models. And at this point, I go to what we call the scenario management, and this might be the gold one or proposal one, or and I might package all three of them together to try to get them to buy all three of these improvements. Maybe also run another scenario where it's just the furnace and the ductwork. But at this point, once this calculates, we can run the homeowner report. And notice the model inspector comes up again. You can actually look at the model inspector results on your base building or on any of your packages that are calculated. Done, and we run that homeowner report.
Oh, I'm doing good. I just got back. I was out in California last week.
I wish I was.
HPXML allowed software available in California webinar. They threw at us kind of quick, but I'm watching someone model treat.
If you could, anyone who's not presenting, please mute yourselves. We've got someone speaking that's coming through.
I don't know.
So you can see here, your information shows up on you, your company, your logo. You can stick in your own logo. Your customer, hey, take the next step, give me a call, let's go over this. And this is the stuff that Nate already showed you. So you can see that it can be done very quickly. The next step that I jumped over would be entering your billing analysis. It's actually pretty simple and quick with the import tool spreadsheet that allows you to import your billing data. You can do 1 year, 2 years, 10 years, as much billing data as you want to stick in there. And you can set up and run your billing analysis. But I think we're at time.
Tentatively, for the future, certainly still allowed now. But when they do 6.
1 second, I'm going to mute everybody and then unmute your own.
Yeah.
Okay, Jerome, are you there?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Okay, yes, I've muted all the other presenters for now. If you want, you'll need to go ahead and transition into your Q&A pretty soon.
Yeah, are we at that time? I mean,
pretty much are, but I think we've only got one question so far, Melina, is that right?
We have 2.
2, so another minute or 2, and then I would transition.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess I'll open up a sample report, and Treat comes with a bunch of samples. There's also the concept of template. With the new Building Wizard, we don't really encourage using templates because the template basically means you could save an old model as a template, and you basically can go back and open it up again. But this will be discussed more in the training, the advantages of using the new Building Wizard over the templates, and we encourage people to use the Building Wizard because there's more control, and I feel like it's actually faster than using templates. But Treat comes with a bunch of stock samples. There's one in here with utility billing data. And you can see here's, there are utility bills in here. Looks like electric and gas, right, just electric and gas. And there's some analysis periods set up. You can set up multiple analysis periods. You could analyze a baseline period. You can analyze any number of months of data, 12 months from January to December or February to February. You can, the sky's the limit on that. But you need one billing analysis period to compare against your base building. So the top row here is your base building output. The bottom row here is your billing analysis, both weather normalized to the same long-term average weather data. So you're comparing apples to apples. And then this percentage difference tells you where you need to focus on. Where should I start focusing on fixing my model? First, I need to address my base electricity usage. My model is about 3,000 or 2,300, what is it? 2,700 kilowatt hours off. Too much, my appliances need to be adjusted. Maybe to swing, one of these is incorrect here. My model is also 30% over predicting my heating end use. So after I balance out my internal gains and my baseload stuff, I'm going to go focus on things like, is my thermostat setting reasonable? That might be too high, but the homeowner told me that she keeps it at 68 pretty much all the time. That might come down a little bit, but it's probably not going to address, the whole point of the billing analysis procedure and the calibration is really for you to double check your assumptions. 78. That's a combustion efficiency number, or was your combustion efficiency 85 and you thought it's an old furnace, let me kick it down to around 78 to account for the fact that it's old. Maybe that's too big of a, it's not a very conservative assumption. Maybe that should be more like 85 or 82. Maybe, follow the BPI procedures for adjusting your combustion efficiencies down to AFUEs. Did you assume that the walls were uninsulated? But you never verified it by cutting a hole into the wall or something. You just did a quick IR scan and thought all walls are uninsulated. So it's the sleuthing process that really helps you double check, did I just make a bad assumption, or did I miss something completely? I had the square footage off accidentally. Or I put my blower door in as 2,200 when really it was actually 1,200. It was a simple input mistake as I keyed into the computer. And these are the kinds of things you want to double check before you go running the savings from a model and over predicting your results and telling the homeowner they're going to save more than they actually will. So that's, Treat has had this process built in for almost since its inception. It's been part of the tool forever. So I think we're at questions at this point, right? Leave to me 3 minutes.
Yes.
Okay, so
yes,
3 more.
Ron, can you see the questions that have come up?
Yeah, let me open this thing up. There we go. So we're in the Q&A period now?
Yes.
Sure.
But you got a short Q&A period, maybe like 3 or 4
Okay.
minutes.
So can you uninstall a seat on one computer and install another? That's really a question for Nate. I think you can. How does it affect the report if you do not enter a total cost per measure? If you don't enter the costs in your model, if you don't enter the cost in the model, the cost won't show up in the report, which is okay. You can export the report as a Word report and enter the cost in later. That's, that's flexibility there. Does Treat support input from other software? How does it work? Not from other software. You can, there's an import from our platform Compass that will take some of the data and push it into Treat, but no, there's not an import from other software in a Treat. What platforms does software run on? It's really a Windows platform. People who use Macs at our own company just use the Mac Parallels, and it works just fine on that. Is there a capability to import building data that was collected or described outside of example spreadsheets? No, there is not a way of pulling in spreadsheet or there's a limited amount. It can pull in an XML file. It's but it's really only basic data about the building, like the project description stuff, address, location, stuff like that, and your billing utility bill data can be pulled in as an XML file. will you work with Big to develop some templates for advanced rebate program? Eric, I don't know what that means. We'd be glad to try to address that later. And what is the price for each additional seat after the main one is purchased? That's a question for Nate. If we want to unmute Nate, he could answer that question.
Sure. So sorry, guys. My software is jumping in and out here. Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. So in terms of pricing, we recommend that every treat license is purchased with a seat in the training, both for the fact that you'll get CEUs and secondly because the training is really important in making sure that you avoid, kind of simple errors in treat and heartache for the program. I'm happy to talk offline about pricing for additional licenses, but you should try to factor in licenses and seats combined for your pricing.
Great. And Nate, it looks like there was one follow-up question. I don't know if you can see it or not. It says, can you uninstall the seat on one computer and reinstall it on another computer?
So you can, as long as your treat license is active. That's actually a good thing to touch base on really quick. So treat licenses are priced to own. There's an annual support contract that comes with treat. The first year of that is free. Each year after that is $200 a year to maintain your license status. Maintaining it means that you get customer support from PSD. You get access to free upgrades, 100% free upgrades of treat as they're released, and you can transfer treat to a new machine within reason. If you start really jumping around, every other week, then we have to have a conversation.
Great. Thanks for the answer. Gentlemen, your time is wrapped. Just a quick announcement that this presentation is being recorded and it will be available afterwards within a few business days for review by the participants on this call. Next we're going to pitch it to Adam from Snug. And Adam, you are unmuted. You should, yep, we see your screen. We should be ready to go.
Sounds good. You all hear me okay?
We can.
Wonderful. So hi, I'm Adam Steftenagel. I'm a CEO and founder of Snug Home, and we build a really cool product called Snug Pro. Snug Pro is, we think of it first and foremost as a sales tool, really a proposal generator for contractors who are in the home doing energy work and really trying to get the homeowner to take the next step, actually make a purchase, and move forward. Then the second great thing about the software is it is in compliance with the home upgrade program. So you can use it to calculate your incentives, the energy savings numbers, and all of that stuff as well. So I'm just going to run through a quick feature list and show you a few screenshots, and we'll go from there. First thing about our software is that it's cloud-based, and that gives us a lot of flexibility to, more than anything, allow you to use lots of different types of programs and in hardware, I guess, all different kinds of devices, and I'll show you that list in a second. It's really fast, and it's a very powerful user interface. It's so simple. You can really get through all the main data entry you need in a house in 20 minutes or less. So we focus first on getting good utility data, and as they've talked about previously in the presentations today, utility analysis is an important part of the California program, and so we start with that data and then give you a great break in all the rest of the data inputs because we build our model based on that initial utility data. So because of that, it makes the data entry process just super, super simple. So you'll see kind of how all that works. The software works on all kinds of devices. It'll even work on your smartphones. It's a responsive layout so that as you move it to different kinds of devices, the entire form factor and the layout of the software changes. The great thing about smartphones and tablets is that you've got text-to-speech capabilities in a lot of those tools, so you never have to really worry about typing a whole bunch of stuff for the homeowner ever again. You can talk it right into the software. While you're sitting in the house or climbing around in an attic, you can be putting data into your smartphone, not only speaking data into it, but taking pictures. And if you've got one of those nifty new FLIR cameras that works with your smartphone, you can actually do thermal scans directly into the software without having to hook up USB cables or any kind of attachments or anything like that, having to copy and paste and move files around. It's all directly integrated within our software. So there's a lot of benefit to that. And the cool thing is you can work on a desktop or laptop as well, and while it's simultaneous at the same time. So you could have someone back at the back office working on some components of the report or typing in some information for you while you're working on it in that house on site. So really cool how all that syncs together, and that's one of the major powers or benefits of the cloud-based component of it. And it works on pretty much any platform. So it works great on Macs, it works great on iOS equipment, Windows equipment, and Android. Basically, as long as the device can run Google Chrome, Chromebooks included, it can run our software. So we do ask you to download the Chrome browser, but it's free, so you can use that and run the software, and it works wonderfully. It does work for single-family and multifamily homes. So the only thing on multifamily is that it's best if the unit is individually metered, because, like I said, the multifamily, or sorry, because the utility data is so important, right? So we want to make sure we're getting utility bills for the unit that we're focusing on, or if you want to do an entire building, you can do the whole building combined, but you need to make sure you get all the meter data added up for all the individual units. So there's that, and it's got a highly customizable audit and sales report. You'll see how you basically have a live interaction with the report itself. You can turn on and off different components, pricing structures, etc. All that can kind of be turned on and off very simply through our user interface. The software's got multiple user roles and permissions, and so you can have administrators, you can have individual users. Users only get to see their jobs, but administrators get to see all the jobs. It's a full-on dashboard for all the jobs that are being done in your program. It's not, you don't just build a project file and then copy those project files back and forth on your desktop. All the jobs show up in the admin panel for your administrators to use. You can assign jobs to different individuals within your company, etc. So there's a really nice workflow for that. Another really big feature of the software are project templates. So you can go ahead and pre-build all of your boilerplate text, stock photos, all the kinds of information that you normally put in your report. You can even do defaults, packages, and different kinds of heating and cooling equipment that you like to use, and build those into the project templates. And that's what really saves you a ton of time in generating your report. We have contractors that have been using our software for a while who used to be spending 6 hours doing an energy audit and getting a proposal out. They can now, by using our software, generate a proposal, do the full BPI audit with CAS testing and blower door infrared scan, and generate that proposal, give it to the homeowner before they leave the house at the kitchen table in less than 2 hours. So it's a really serious major saver in time. And then lastly, we have impeccable customer support. We have live chat built into the software, so if you're ever out in the field and you got a question about what am I supposed to do here or there, we're there in a live chat room. We also have phone support and email support that's available. So that's the basic rundown. Here's a screenshot of the proposal. It's just the front page, but you can see it's a really nice layout. We really think about how do we make this proposal help you sell. So this is a picture of that. Gives you an example. Here's an example of the data collection component where this is the input screen. It's super, super simple. We're not talking about thousands of fields of data entry. We're talking about maybe 100 at the most, and that's with all of the detailed inputs. You can get in and out through most of these fields. It's probably 30 really important fields that you even want to mess with. So again, very simple and easy to use. This is what our recommendation screen looks like. This lets you organize what's going to show up in the report and say, okay, we're going to recommend that the homeowner do these 8 components here. We can decline items. There's a bunch of built-in modeled components, and then you can also add your own custom recommendations, maybe fix the dryer vent, or heck, if you wanted to use the software to sell kitchen remodels, you could do that too. The software is really designed as a proposal tool. It's there for you to sell whatever it is that you sell to the homeowners while you're on the job. We've got built-in financing capabilities, so if you've got financing products and various components of partnerships with banks or different financiers, you can build financing products as templates and then show those financing products with the full-on monthly cash flow of what the homeowner would be paying minus their energy savings. Those can show up directly in our report. So really easy to customize those. You can have program-level financing products. We can have company-level generic templates, and then you can customize them for the individual homeowner. For instance, say you got them pre-approved on one of your your GE money loan, and so you know the actual interest rate and what the loan term is going to be. You can put that in there and have that displayed on the report, customized for that homeowner. Here's a little, just a screenshot of what the report generator looks like. Again, really simple interface. It's kind of a what you see is what you get interaction kind of deal. So you can go in and change the text in the report live on the screen. And that gets modified, and as soon as you click on the print preview, all of those changes are reflected in the actual report that you're generating for the homeowner. So I'm just going to take you into the tool real quick and show you a little bit of what it looks like. The main screen is like this. This gives you the list of all the jobs that are in your company, depending on the user permission of who you're working with. Another feature we have is that the individual can work for multiple companies. So if you have freelance auditors, you can invite them to work for your company, and they can only see the jobs that you authorize them to see for your company, but they can also switch over to their company or a different company that they may be working for. So basically every individual has one account. And then all the billing and all that kind of stuff, the program level permissions and all that kind of stuff is based on the companies. So all different kinds of ways that users can work with and interact with the software. You can sort the job lists by all different methodologies. You can do searches just by typing directly in to see which job you wanted to find. If you had a job and you're like, well, this guy was a year old and we worked on him a long time ago, but I remember his name was Bill, then you can search for that directly right into the tool. It's a live search function, super, super fast. We do have integration with Google Maps, so you can basically click on the link and it will load up Google Maps for you. You can then get driving directions to that specific address, etc., and super quickly get to where you need to go. So let's see here. That's the basic job screen. There's so much more we can talk about there, but I'm going to go ahead into a specific job here, to Frank Underwood's job. Notice that we've got tooltips that give you all kinds of information about what the data that we're asking for there. It's just live right there. You don't have to look up a help document or anything. Tells you what's going on, tells you what type of data you can type in, the validations, and if you start typing numbers that are too big, the software immediately tells you that it's invalid. So that's all built right into the software. And again, simple inputs, simple menus, very, very easy to use. Homeowner concerns, there's all kinds of ways to interact with the homeowner and get information to them while you're walking through the house so that you don't have to worry about going back and writing that data in the report later. So here's the detailed utility bill entry. We've got some ways to automatically increment the data. We've got calendar views. There's all kinds of ways to get that in the tool nice and easily. If you happen to have the same dates for electricity and gas, then you can copy those dates back and forth and utilize those again. Pretty much on every section, we've got, wherever there's going to be a possible recommendation on the report screen, you can do details. So we've got this very, very simple interface that lets you put in the basics, and then if you want to drill down and put more information in, you can. So you can go in, add a photo. Let's go to the thermostat. Let's take a picture or put up a picture of the new programmable thermostat from Honeywell that we want to display. We can crop that live right here in the tool. We can edit those photos, make it fit nicely in the report, and just by clicking on that, that photo is now live in the actual report when you click on the report screen. So super, super quick way of generating that report and that proposal and making it look really nice. So as we scroll down, you can see all the different kinds of systems you can put in: heating systems, cooling systems, combination systems, all different kinds of ductwork options. You know, there's lots of flexibility if you want to use it, but you don't have to use it, which is the great thing of the tool. Heating and cooling details, we can drill down and go in, and now you can see where we can edit the efficiency of the furnaces and the equipment, and put in model numbers and all of those kinds of details. That's all right there and available by clicking on the detail component in the job form itself. So that's the basic run-through of the inputs, but as you can see, it's not a lot of stuff that you have to fill out in a house to get good results. If you want to, you can drill down and put a lot more information in, but it's not a requirement. We've got a health and safety section that lets you put in all different kinds of components: pass, fail, warning, or I didn't test it. You can talk about that. You can go into detail with photos and captions and all different kinds of information on the health and safety section. But in the end, you fill that out, you model it, you click on the refine screen, and here's the results. This is basically what we're going to recommend to the homeowner. You can see the pricing. It comes with its own default costs for the measures. So it comes from the NREL's National Database of Retrofit Measures that's regionally adjusted. You can override those costs just by typing it in if you want, or you can use the default costs. All of that is then editable in the report screen. So you can click on report, and here's what you see is what you get. You can start typing a letter to that individual homeowner. You can edit the homeowner concerns, but there's a concerns page, a solutions page. You have all the costs and savings showing up here, but maybe you don't want to actually show the cost numbers to the homeowner right now. This is just an audit. You're just kind of giving them an idea of what's going on. You can go in and turn off the costs just by clicking on this button in the settings. Costs are gone now. Or maybe you don't want to talk about savings to investment ratio. You can turn those off. All different kinds of components to this. You can turn off the photos, specific notes to the contractor, etc. All that kind of stuff can be edited and modified in the report. Here's kind of what the financing looks like. They've got 3 different loan products showing up here that shows the cash flow for all of them and all the math that goes with it. Here's what a detailed page would look like with multiple rows of photos and photo captions, notes to the homeowner, notes to the contractor, etc. Here's attic pictures. If we get down far enough, maybe we'll find that. I think we've got the thermostat turned on here for that picture. There it is. That's the Honeywell thermostat that I just loaded into that thermostat screen. So I don't know how much time I've got yet here for now, but that gives you a brief overview of some of the power of the software and the great interface that it has. And I'm going to walk through just a couple of things. You can sign up for free to the software at snugpro.com. You can go there right now and go ahead and check out the site. What I've been showing you is a brand new release that is extremely hot off the presses. We were pretty much releasing it today. So new version 4 is pretty cool. The website today really does not reflect any of the new features, but you're welcome to sign up and start playing around with the software, and just talk to us in the chat room and we can help you out if you want to learn how to make it all work. The one thing I do want to clarify to everyone, because you probably have a lot of folks from individual companies or from the same company on the webinar today, when you create an account, we don't want every individual person in your company to go create an account, because it, by default, is going to create a new company. So we want one person from each company to be kind of the initial administrator, who'll be able to put in the credit card information and things like that for billing, etc. We want that person to be the first person to create an account. And you can do that by going to our website, snugpro.com. You click on the Sign Up Free button. That creates a new account in the company, and then that administrator person should, you'll have the option to invite via email all the rest of the users in your company so that you're all sharing the same company. So that's just a quick important thing to note, so that we don't have everybody else signing up at once and making the same company more than once. So pricing, I think there was a question for that. This is the layout of the pricing. It's basically a per job deal. So we know where you're going to save a ton of money every time you use our software compared to building the proposals that you were doing before. So we're pricing this on a per job basis, and the default retail price is $30 per house. The special pricing that we have for the home upgrade program is $25 for a single project, but we do have subscription pricing. So if you do a lot of jobs per month, there's all different tiers for that pricing. But what's great is this is unlimited users per company. There's no per user fee, there's no setup fee, no annual fees, no training fees. We do training for free. We do online webinars, and we've got this extensive customer service where we can help you along the way all the time. So again, you can sign up online, snugpro.com. And that's basically the story. Those are our support hours, 7 to 4 Pacific time, and most of the time you'll find us actually answering support way beyond those hours, but we are around officially on those times. Is it time for Q&A now? Is that what we want to do?
Yes. Yeah, your time for regular presentation is up, although the one question we had was about the cost, which is a question you've answered already. So if there is anything else you'd like to elaborate on, we'll continue to field questions. You should be able to see them on your computer as well if you want to open up that panel. But I yield a little bit of time back to you.
Great. Some folks are raising their hands. I don't know if you're allowing for that, but I think people have to type their questions into the question pane. So.
What's our number? Why can't I hear anything?
It's 415.
Okay, and so I don't know which questions were for me or for the treat folks. Maybe this one from Ben on how do you calculate savings for custom measures is for me. I'm not sure, but I'll answer it. There are no savings numbers for the custom measures. You know, and I'm pretty sure that we cover every possible measure that the home upgrade program gives an incentive for or allows to be on the list. So there's no incentive that's related to that. You know, right now we don't have solar PV in the system, so you wouldn't be able to see the benefit in the savings column, so to speak. If we look at the report itself right here, you wouldn't see savings for that. So in this instance, fix the dryer vent. Well, that doesn't really have a savings number, but it's a health and safety issue, so you can see the cost and then NA for the actual savings number. So another one is, does it communicate with Salesforce? And currently, we don't have any live API interactions with Salesforce, but one of the features that will be turned on here real soon in version 4 is the data export feature for CSV. So right now, the export, in order to get the job into the home upgrade program, and they're not ready to take the HPXML files yet, but they will be, I don't know, I think they said officially April 27th is what they told me the other day. But they can explain that exactly. But somewhere around there, you will actually be able to upload the HPXML files into the system. So you choose if it's an audit or the completed job, and you click on Export HPXML. That'll download an HPXML file that you then upload into the California, to your program implementer's portal. There will be a choice here that says export as CSV as well, so you could then start working with Salesforce and doing that kind of implementation. As far as the subscription projects, if you use them up, does it roll over? No, there's no rollover on that, but we could work with you on a different kind of pricing structure that you pre-purchase X number of jobs and it lasts for as long as you want. It's not nearly as good of a deal, but that's a possibility. If you wanted to talk to us about it, just communicate with us directly. No, this is not Salesforce based. So we don't have any direct integration with CRMs. It kind of has its own CRM going on in there to a certain extent, and you'll see more of that as we come out with new additions to version 4 in the next few months. But there currently is no direct integration other than that CSV export. Import data. Okay, so there's no real importing of data, but what's cool is you've got the ability to do photos in lots of different ways. So you could do a single really wide photo, and that's, like, say it's a graph. You can drop that into into the photo system. That photo could take up most of the screen. So it gives you the opportunity to do some graphs and charts and things like that if you're doing photographs and want to put those in there. Let's see here. What else? Home upgrade allows duct insulation, lighting upgrades, heat pump, refrigerator savings. Yes, we do all of those. I'll kind of show you the whole smorgasbord of recommendations. This is what, for this specific job, these are all recommended. And I'll go to the decline side. These are the ones that are turned off for this job, but you can see the savings numbers behind them. Basements, crawl spaces, pool pumps, water heater temperature, doors, floors above the garage, frame floors, cantilevers, etc., freezers, lighting, refrigerator, thermostat, windows, vaulted ceilings, dishwashers, clothes washers. It's a pretty extensive list. So, and does it do package comparisons? Currently, we do not have a package comparison scenario, but there are some ways to do it because you can generate as many different kinds of reports that you want. So there's a workaround for it, but it's definitely something in the it's in our pipeline for release. You know, this probably this spring or this summer. Okay, I think I got through all of them. Here's another one. All right. Yes, absolutely. You can drill down to get the actual recommendation. So let's go into the attic. If I click on the attic button here, again, we can override the cost. So maybe it's $2,000 or $1,000, etc. And then you go down here and you've got this detailed set of information. So you can override the square footage that it gives you. So you're like, well, I actually measured the attic. It's 1,200 square feet. The base R value is 10, and I'm going to put 60 into the attic. That then overrides it all. You model it one more time, and you can put in, and that will give you the updated energy savings to match that increased insulation levels in the model. All right, any other questions? So another thing to note, we're getting, I have some webinars scheduled. I believe we've got them up on our website right now. If not, they will be really soon. You'll be able to go in and attend a webinar. We do an hour-and-a-half training. It's really all you need to get going. So I've got 2 webinars scheduled for next week. If folks want to start checking out the software, giving it a whirl, come in and RSVP for either of these webinars from our website. It's on the front page, or you can go to snugpro.com/webinars. Anybody else? Okay. Well, I guess that's it for me. We can move on to the next one if folks are interested, unless there's no other questions. Oh, there is one more. Can you add custom measures? Yeah, I thought I showed that, but that's fine. We can. If you log into the tool, you can check it out.
All right. So can folks hear me? Can anyone hear me?
Don, can you hear me?
All right. Well, I'm going to proceed. This is Michael Atkins with Cake Systems, and we're going to walk through this software. I was kind of expecting a handoff, but that's all right. We will proceed here, and if there's any questions, please enter them into the questions box. Cake Systems, I'm going to just give you a brief overview of the organization, and then we'll go through the couple different modules of the tool before diving into a demo and then wrapping up with the Q&A. So Cake Systems is a product that was developed by Earth Advantage. Earth Advantage is a nonprofit based in Portland, Oregon, whose mission is to accelerate the creation of better buildings by providing tools to professionals and information to consumers. Cake Systems was originally developed to help energy efficiency programs connect with their constituents effectively, making it easier for owners to get connected to programs, for energy professionals to collect the necessary information about a building, and then present recommendations that are actionable to the building owner, and for programs to have easier oversight and reporting on their progress. So as I mentioned, it's a modular tool. It's all built in the cloud, so software as a service. It means it's running on the web, and you can access it from any device that's web connected. It also has a offline mobile app. So you can see here we have a number of different modules that we've built out for different program needs. And what we're going to be talking about today are the core audit module and the proposal generator. We'll also be touching on the mobile app, but we also have dashboards for program administrators, the home portal for connecting with homeowners, an API for data connections, automatic data connections to other external software services, and then a QA and QC module for doing inspection work. So if you have any questions about any of those other modules, I'd be happy to have a conversation about that at another time. We'll start talking about the core audit module. It's really the piece that's focused on doing the data collection in the home and using Michael Blasnick's simple energy model to generate results that are accurate. So it's very fast. Michael Blasnick, for those of you that don't know, he is an energy guru in the space, and he, through the course of evaluating hundreds of thousands of homes and their data, was able to come up with this understanding of how to model a home very efficiently and effectively. So we use his methodology for collecting information, and then it's really one of the most accurate energy modeling softwares on the market. and it does that without the need for utility bills. So it's an uncalibrated model. You don't have to input utility bills to get an accurate estimate of energy usage or savings. As I mentioned, it's software as a service, so you can use it on any device. You can use it on your PC or Mac and your laptop, but also on the tablet or on the phone in your pocket. As long as it's got an internet connection, you can connect to the software online. And we also have a mobile app for doing offline data connections. So if you're not connected to the internet, crawling around in somebody's attic, you can still use the tool for doing the data collection and then sync that up with the server once you get into coverage. Automatically produces homeowner-friendly reports that you can upload photos into. We have our own templates that you can create for saving time and doing your data collection, data entry. And those reports get branded with your own logos. So the cake systems and simple algorithm were originally developed based on a study that Earth Advantage had done. Again, as a nonprofit, we do a lot of research. And so we had researched existing software tools in the market for the Energy Trust of Oregon and found that the quickest audit tool at the time and most accurate was the simple model. And so this is a summary of the results of that study. Oh, thanks for the help there on the mute. Here is a screenshot of the mobile app. As I said, this runs on any Android or iOS tablet or smartphone, so you can do your data collection in offline mode and then sync that up to the web for the reporting pieces later. And then we have a proposal generator. So really, focusing on being able to create sales proposals that are actionable for the homeowner, integrating incentives and things of that nature. And we'll show you more of this into inside of the demo itself. Depending on your needs, you can calculate in SIR or ROI. You can create phased projects or bundled packages. Again, just really depending on what you feel the customer is looking for. Pricing, we have a couple of different pricing options for you. Just understanding that everybody's a little bit different in how they work. So if you're just doing a few audits, a month, we have a pay-per-use, which is $25 for a test-in audit, $10 for a test-out. The basic package, which is unlimited usage, is $69.99 per month. That doesn't include the mobile app, but it does include the proposal generator and the core audit module. The premium package kind of gets you a lot more options, as well as the mobile app. You also get our free live customer support. And with all of these components, we provide training. The training is $199 per person, but I believe we're waiving that for California contractors for the initial launch here, and that also gets you 6 BPI CEUs. And if you have kind of more needs than kind of the off-the-shelf versions, we get enterprise customers all the time that want to do specific things for their business, and that would include customized reports. So completely different kinds of layouts and designs. Could show you a few of those after we do a demo. Actually, there's an example right here at a high level. You can see the front page of two different reports, one for Clean Energy Works here in Oregon, and another one for Neil Kelly's home performance division. They're a very large home performance contractor in the Northwest. So, sum up, Cake Systems is fast, easy, and accurate. Under an hour to do an energy audit and produce a report for the homeowner. Does not require the utility bills for calibration. You can use it on any device, any browser that's online, or if you have our premium package, you can use our mobile app. Easy to use reports with your logos on them, technical building science support, and we can customize those reports for you. So I'm going to pop into demo here. There we go. So this is our audit form. You'll see here there are some very simple data forms, data points to collect, year built, floors above grade, that kind of stuff. And those are kind of the most precise calculations that we're doing. We allow you to do some calculations to do an estimated volume just based on the average floor height. You can calculate what the volume would be. If you have 9-foot ceilings, it's going to be higher. Number of bedrooms, house leakage. If you're doing a blower door, you can get the actual house leakage. If you're not doing a blower door, we let you pick from one of the kind of preset criteria for how leaky that house is relative to other the parameters that we define here. So we've got a range from very leaky to tight, and we give you some guidance on how to characterize the house that would be in that condition, and then we make a calculation to estimate the CFM at 50 pascals. We also display for you what the ACH natural is. So where Blasnik's simple model really kind of comes into play is in collecting information in these kind of bucketed areas. So saving a lot of time on windows and insulation and things like that. We're not defining multiple areas of the home. We're asking for the predominant type in the home of windows. So, what does the house mostly have? It's mostly single pane or mostly double pane or single with storms. And if you ever have questions about what any of the criteria are for any of these buckets, for window shading, we have 3 categories you can choose from, and they're pretty easy to understand how to pick those once you dive into the details there. We also, as I mentioned in the training, you kind of walk you through what each of those buckets mean. And one of the ways that our model is so accurate is because it's less precise and there's less room for user entry error. So with the energy model from Blasnik, you're really looking at these buckets of information because those are what move the needle on energy usage across building stock. I don't want to go into too many details here, but if there are questions, I can answer those later on. There's the ability to add HVAC systems. You can add up to 4 per home. Just defining the floor area covered, and then a couple of questions about what that different HVAC system is. There's information then on water heating, secondary water heating if you've got solar or a secondary water heater, and then some plug load questions refrigerators, washing machines, clothes dryers, what kind of cooking fuel is used, and then plug load info for the lights, incandescent versus LED. Other major energy usage, so if they've got pool pumps, we provide a, if they've got an outdoor pool, the pool pump, we give them guidelines on how to enter that into the system as well. So that's kind of defining the home in its current state. We let you pick from some specific recommended upgrades that are available, and they're pretty detailed and cover a lot of the options. You can also pre-fill from inputs to help populate reports. But we let you make the recommendations for what kind of improvements need to be made. So reducing air leakage by a certain CFM 50 or scaling it up to the BAS, insulating the attic, to whatever levels are appropriate, and kind of going through category by category in each area of the home, and understanding then with these specific upgrades, then we know how to do specific energy modeling on them. We also collect specific data that's required for California. So in this case, there's a thermostat, some thermostat questions, hot water temperature, energy factor, and that kind of stuff. Also, as I mentioned before, being able to do information from templates. You can pre-fill from a template if you had one available to populate all of the notes that are going to be filled in, as well as being able to upload photos from your computer. If you're using this on a phone or a tablet, you can actually just click the camera button and take a picture to embed that within the report. I'm going to go to a different audit that's already been completed, so we can take a look at what that looks like. So when you complete an audit, it'll give you an estimate of what the home's current fuel use is, and what that fuel use would be after upgrades by different use of the home, so heating, cooling, water heating, lighting, and appliances. It also automatically generates different reports depending on your layout and what you've chosen. You can pick from different report templates. So I'm going to take a look at the default energy analysis report. It generates automatically as a PDF. While that's loading. So you can see the report for the homeowner breaks down those same criteria and gives you information on each area of the home, any notes that you provided, your description of the what needs to be done in the home, and then recommendations that you've made. So again, each broken up by area of the home, what their annual savings is, what that breaks down to in kilowatt hours, or as I said, these reports are all customizable. So I wanted to show you as well the ability to create proposals. This is our proposal generator where you can go in and manage projects. In this case, we've got a couple of things going on. We've got edit actual values where you can go in and override the defaults that we've chosen, through Simple to make the process as streamlined as possible. If you know that, though, that the number of occupants is 3 or 4, you can go in here and override that, and that'll affect the energy model. make it, kind of dial it in a little bit. Same with, heating, cooling set points, or multiple areas of the home for the attic. But those are kind of optional sections to fill in. And then you get to configure upgrades for the home, and you can add improvement measures. So I think these are all relevant to the California program, so you can add the information necessary in order to get the rebates pushed through. Those all then get populated in the HPXML file that you'd upload to the implementers. And you can see that HPXML file's right here, so it's easy enough to you just click on save, and you'd save that and then upload that into your implementer's software package. Okay. What kind of questions are there?
You're about at time, so if you're ready to take questions, looks like there's not that much yet, but can you see them?
Okay, yeah, I can.
And there was a comment about that your screen is on presenter mode, and it's smaller than it would normally be if you can reselect your screen.
Sorry about that. All right. Can Cake calculate custom upgrades like R44 attic insulation or R22 floor insulation? That is not one of our standard upgrades, so currently we don't allow that for energy modeling. What we have are the kind of energy modeling inputs that have been standardized. So R48, R38, R49 are the levels in there. There are ways of getting to kind of in-between values, and John Spillman would actually be a better person to address that. Let's see if I can unmute him. John, do you want to talk about how to model kind of in between attic or floor insulations? I think I unmuted you.
John, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm trying to. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you. Yep.
Okay, great. Yeah, so the edit actual measurements in the proposal generator that Michael showed towards the end of the presentation, where there was the thermostat overrides or the number of occupants at the top of that, gives you the ability to make some adjustments of the current state of the home. And I'll do some overrides on the R values. So you could make some overrides to the current state of the home to end up coming out with a net similar savings as you would in a situation with wanting to model R44 instead of R49, for example.
Great, thanks, John.
Sure.
Mike, are you seeing the additional question?
No, let's see. Okay, sorry. Can I calculate kilowatt hour savings to size PV solar size? John, do you want to talk about PV?
Yeah, we can include the savings for both. Well, actually, we can model an existing system and include that in the report, or also you can include a recommendation for a PV system and include the power generated from that system. We don't have the estimator built right into the system. Our protocol is for the user to go to use PV watts calculator that's available through NREL's website for free and generate the estimated actual energy production for that site with a particular orientation, and bring that number and put it into our software so that will then be displayed in the homeowner report.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, thanks everybody. And
Michael, we do have another one that just came in.
Oh, okay.
You have about 5 minutes left, so.
Okay.
I'm sorry, 3 minutes.
Can we add custom measures in the audit report and proposals? For example, insulate attic to R44. So I think we answered that a little bit. Custom measures are added by, in terms of the measure savings, you can add custom, or you can calculate custom measures by picking a standardized upgrade. For a custom upgrade, that would be something we'd need to work with individual auditors on, or at an enterprise level. If you want a specific upgrade to be shown consistently in our current software, that's something we would have to add. So if there was a good reason to do that, we would work with you to do so.
Michael, there's another question from Ben.
Okay. They keep scrolling down to the bottom of my screen here. So,
yes.
What are kilowatt-hour equivalents? Home upgrade wants them, and kilowatt hour savings. So kilowatt-hour equivalent is, and John's probably a better person to describe it, but it's if you're measuring BTUs, there's a kilowatt-hour equivalent, and it's a conversion of the energy unit, basically.
Yeah, it's basically just combining all the fuel use into one number. It was originally done in order to simplify the homeowner's view of how much energy the home is using. We are customizing our user interface for the California platform to show you, the auditor, both therms and kilowatts separately, because we know you need that for your incentive calculation. But in the report, it was, like I said originally, the intent was to simplify talking to homeowners about energy. So everything has been converted over into a kilowatt-hour equivalent by converting the BTUs into kilowatt hours.
Great, gentlemen. Thank you, John and Michael. Sorry we missed the audio handoff earlier. We were having some internal audio issues, so
no problem.
Incorrect, it appears. You can hear me. Thank you again, and now we'll turn it over to Ryan Moore at Optimizer for his presentation.
Great. How's my audio?
We can hear you loud and clear.
Very good.
And I'm seeing your screen.
Great. So I am Ryan Moore from Optimizer. I'm going to use the same general format that you guys have been seeing. Thanks for being so patient, attentive. This is a lot of information. Optimizer is based in Colorado, and the developers are sort of spread out around the country. We've had our first real major version about 5 years ago. The ideas have been in development for a little bit longer. So we've iterated through a few major versions. We're in use around the country. And it's a really flexible, powerful platform, more than a single tool. So if you talk to someone, in the Midwest who uses Optimizer for a really fast-paced kind of DSM program, dropping off light bulbs and doing that kind of stuff, it will look totally different than someone, in Arizona, who's a BPI auditor doing a home performance audit. So that said, I'm going to go through and show you some screenshots of the tool, and I'm going to show you a little demo and show you exactly what you can expect and try to differentiate a little bit. So here, just to summarize, a few reasons why you should go try Optimizer free. You can the interface is really unique. You input only what you know or you can measure or observe. We don't want you to do any guesswork, and we don't want you to do any double entry. The report is homeowner friendly right out of the box, plus you can customize it, add your own logos, branding, as many photos as you want, custom narrative sections, et cetera, et cetera. You can automatically calibrate to available bills, although you don't have to use bills if you don't want to. It's an advanced physics-based hourly model, and it's touch tablet optimized, so you can carry it on a tablet. You can take photos on your tablet. It's got a built-in photo app. And we have great free training and support options. So the audit approach, let me just step back and describe where we're coming from. We are really focused on scaling this industry. So we want to grow energy efficiency. And so in order to do that, we've become totally focused on the contractor experience. Because without contractors succeeding in their own businesses, then none of the programs work around the country. So to do that, we've realized that we had to sort of move this line between speed and accuracy and jump over some of the hurdles that other companies were facing, other previous iterations of building models. And so the first thing we did was go through and build this really superb, advanced hybrid hourly degree day modeling engine. So it's a real-time calculation engine that runs on your computer constantly. You don't hit calculate, you don't hit load. You're just always seeing feedback from the calculation engine in real time, every button that you touch. And so we figured that would help contractors to make better decisions instantly in the field, and also to see how they're doing and what data points they don't have to collect. The other thing we realized was that the best predictor of future energy savings, if you want to tell a homeowner what they're going to save or you want to sell an item, is historical energy usage. So we had to build the best automated utility bill calibration around. So that's what we did, and build in features that made it so easy to use that you could throw any bills in there, and an Optimizer would automatically, without your further trying to figure out how the calibration went and what you can use and what you can't, just automatically gobble them up and apply them and get as much information out of them as possible. So that's what we did. And we also realized that auditors need a lot of feedback on audit completeness, because you're not only trying to sell jobs, but you're trying to interact with programs and program requirements. And every time you have to go back out to a house, that just kills your performance and kills your business model. So we wanted to build in all of the instant feedback on job completeness, on model quality, and also eliminate all the double entry that you have to do for form filling and rebate applications and so forth into the tool. So we actually developed our own application development environment to build this tool, which seemed kind of crazy at the time, but it's really paid off, I think, for contractors, because we can do that type of customization for everybody really, really efficiently. And then finally, the other major advancement was a couple years ago, we realized that it wasn't enough to give people this really flexible modeling engine that could auto-calibrate utility bills. The fact was that contractors and anybody entering, trying to translate the reality of a building to this theoretical world of a model needs more help. They need an expert system. So we built the first Audit Wizard a couple years ago, and it's more than just a streamlined interface. So there may be 30 or 40 controls that you can put in that would accurately describe a building, but the fact is it's not the same 30 or 40 controls to best describe a building for every job. And you may not have the same set of information for every job. So what the Audit Wizard and Optimizer does is it looks at the information that you have, the quality of the build data that you have, the other information that you've put into the system already, and it propagates that information instantly every time you enter something through the tool and tries to present you with the most streamlined audit and the most accurate results possible with every click of a button. So that was the last major release. We're now on version 4 of Optimizer. So the inputs are totally responsive. When you start Optimizer, you have a complete building model. And you can go to the Loads tab, and you can see how the loads are being distributed. You also have a complete improved building model, and you can see the savings for default measures that are in there. And all the defaults that get loaded are totally customizable. The model is continuously calculating. There are multiple feedback mechanisms inside the model in the interface that I'll show you. In terms of how the model is lining up with bills, you see that right from the moment you put in bills, and on every detailed data entry screen you can see how the loads are being distributed in this model and how they stack up against the energy coming in to the building that you've described in the bills and gains. So you can see which part of the buildings are the building model maybe kind of driving some inaccuracy. So you might have put in something that was a guess or doesn't make sense versus the historical usage, and Optimizer will show you that. It's also very transparent, and in terms of showing you what's going on behind the scenes, access to all the detailed inputs to the model, and where the information is coming from. So it gives you the opportunity to become better all the time at your audit workflow. So you can go to the places that and make the measurements that make the most impact on the accuracy of the model. And it gives you a really quick tool to do error diagnostics. So when you put the bills in and you put a zip code in and an age class for the building, Optimizer instantly runs a bill analysis, and it gives you a pre-audit diagnostic. So it shows you right away by comparing a default model for that location and age class to a model that's entirely based on historical usage. It gives you right away some possible issues that you might encounter and some possible reasons for those issues, so you can show the homeowner that report. Bill analysis, again, you don't have to put in bills. It does have a very streamlined, intuitive interface for entering data without bills. But if you put in bills, they're great pieces of information, and we do a lot with them. First, you put in bills. You can scrape them in from any digital source, from a text file, a spreadsheet, a web form. They can be in any format, any order. And you tell Optimizer which data point is which. Here's a date, and here's the usage number. Here's a cost, whatever. Optimizer digests all that, tests the data for quality and quantity. If you don't have exact meter read dates, it'll find the best fit dates for you. It automatically removes statistical outliers, like if you have vacation periods in there. It can accommodate a mix of delivery fuels and multiple heat sources. And so then it gobbles that up and it compares it to weather from the same time period, and it gives you some results and tells you how the analysis went, and then it automatically applies the information as best it can in the most appropriate way. So if you don't have enough information, say you have 2 propane top-offs or something that you've put in to the model, we might not be able to disaggregate heating, cooling, and baseload from that, but we can calibrate towards it. So it will tell you the results of the analysis instantly, and then it will use that information. So it won't force the model or force a disaggregation, force heating load, but it will calibrate to that load for you. Here's another view of the pre-audit diagnostic. So our calibration, it happens really in 2 phases. When you first put in the building model, if it passes what's called DPI 2400, it's this statistical test for bill quantity and quality, then it does a calibration of the whole physics-based model. So it goes through and it takes those default housing characteristics and it adjusts them because we know that historical usage, it makes perfect sense in regards to how weather changed over the time period that you entered it in, and it's really close to our default physics-based model. So we can do a whole building calibration. So now we know the efficiency of the envelope, the heating system, the cooling system possibly, and possibly the base load as well. And we adjust all those things in the physics-based model. So now you're starting with a complete hourly physics-based model that lines up with reality. So that happens automatically if you have enough bill data. And even if you don't, like I say, you still progress through the audit. And every once in a while, Optimizer is going to ask you if you want to calibrate something. And you may, or it may just give you a range control. So again, we don't want you to force you to make guesses or put in bad values or values that have a precision other than what you've actually observed, because then you're locking a model into something that may not be true. So instead of doing that, we ask for ranges or categories, and then we iteratively, at the end of the process, build thousands of models and get back to a physics-based model that is most closely lines up with that historical usage, even if it's one data point that you've put in. So it's really the best of both worlds. And this is the screenshot is just a close-up of the question. After you put in an attic insulation depth, it'll ask you, do you want to calibrate the attic insulation? And you may want to, even if you've observed a depth and an insulation type, you may have observed significant settling over that attic area. So you don't know what the best point value is to put into a complex building model. And you can let Optimizer calibrate over the 2 or 4 inch range that you've observed in that attic area and come up with the best data point. So the workflow, this Audit Wizard interface I'm talking about, tries to present this minimal input set. At the same time, it gives you access to complete detail about the model. So there's this little switch to detailed link on every screen, and you can dive in and specify multiple heating systems, multiple fuel types, specify multiple attic areas, and so forth, and also create as many custom measures as you want. And just to recap, it's really, the Audit Wizard is an expert system trying to take the guesswork out of your true-up routine, only ask for the information that you know, and then works within the boundaries of what you've entered and reliable region and age-specific defaults, and works within those boundaries to find the best fit model. The measure database comes from NREL. That's the foundation. So when you load Optimizer, you have all these default measures for the base and improved home. And then you can just add as many measures as you want in each category. You define, so I'll show you a little snapshot. You've got a little window that pops up, and it's a direct view into the database, and you'll see where the energy properties are. You can define any insulation measures, any air sealing values, duct sealing values that you want. And Optimizer uses your energy properties that you've assigned and your costs to calculate savings and payback. You can also save multiple cost templates, so you can save different sets of costs for the same item, so you can apply them kind of en masse if you go to different sections of the state or you have different suppliers or customer bases. You can generate up to 10 optimal packages within specified cost bins, so that'll do that for you automatically, or you can build the packages manually. You can incorporate financing. Measure by measure, you can have different financing and incentives, up to 5 different incentive categories for each measure, or you can just do it for the whole package. You can auto-generate these packages to be the best, the optimal measures under the price caps by SIR, MIR, or CO2 reduction. And you can show people the packages based on the net cost after financing incentives or the base cost. So this is a little screenshot of. So the tables are interactive. They show you what's what the state of the model is. So every time you adjust something, it gets the information that's propagated everywhere throughout Optimizer. You don't have to keep things in sync yourself. Then you can go to these tables, and some of the cells you can just manipulate directly and adjust rebates and so forth. Although for California, the rebates are being calculated automatically. So the report is we have a direct-to-word report and a PDF report. The PDF report is really the flagship report that most people use. It's totally customizable. It's got over 40 page types that you select from to build report selections. So you can have a short report and a long report, and one that focuses on your complete bid with custom items and so forth, and one that focuses on the incentivized amounts or whatever you want to do. It's got 90+ photo slots. You can pick photos off your computer. You can take them directly with a tablet and incorporate them. You can edit them if you want. You can, you drop in your logo and your company information and all that just appears. The QA/QC. So we have this QA/QC mechanism that's it's this dynamic table of links. So when you go through the audit, you can always go and check to see how you're doing. But basically, it's keeping track of everything you need to make a a valid HPXML file for California, and it gives you a one-click link to go and fix that item. So if you click on any of the links, you can see there's a couple here. You have to enter a building street number. If you clicked on that, it would land your mouse, your cursor, in the building street number box, and you just start typing, and it corrects that issue. And when you clear the list, you get a Get HPXML button, and you can generate your HPXML file. You actually can't get the button until you clear the list. So you have to. Some of them are optional. You can skip them. But all the critical ones that are going to prevent your file submission from going through, we actually force you to put a value in there. And it's not that onerous. There's homeowner name and last name and things like that. But that just again reinforces this idea that the best place to make those changes is before you leave the site, or go back to try to shop at a coffee shop or something to get internet access to submit the file. We can build in automatic form filling. You can collect signatures on the tablet. Optimize, like I mentioned, we built it in our own custom application development environment. So what that means is we're able to incorporate a lot of different custom calculations, workbooks. We can gobble up any Excel file and interact with it in the system. So that's available to you if you have databases or custom reports or calculators that you want to incorporate. We also can connect to databases. There's, I think, about 10 that you can connect to. Salesforce, a bunch of different SQL types, MS SQL, MySQL, Oracle. You can connect to Access locally, Excel, FileMaker, and we have a database integrator mapping tool that just automatically goes up. You give it your credentials, let's say to your Salesforce database, and presents you with all your fields, and you do a mapping right there between Optimizer fields and your Salesforce fields. And then you can save that, and you can save multiple mappings, and then you can push and pull information to and from Optimizer. So we don't have in this tool, we don't have a project management system, a web-based back-end that we're presenting here. We just make it flexible enough to connect to whatever back-end system you want to use. Let's see. I think I'm about running out of time. Am I already out of time?
No, you've got one more minute for your presentation, and then you've got about 8 or 9 minutes for questions.
Okay, thank you. I lost track of it. I'm on the East Coast here, so I keep messing up my time conversion.
And the time did just change, so we're with you.
Okay. So again, it's PC based. It runs in Windows, or a virtualized Windows environment on a Mac is okay. I'm running on a Mac right now. It is optimized for touchscreen and mouse input. So that means we target touchscreen tablets like the Windows tablets, like the Surface Pro or the Acer Iconia. There's a lot coming on the market right now. And we do things like automatically adjust the screen resolution, blow up the controls so you can fat finger everything, and we built our own keyboard because we didn't like the Windows 8 one. So we really are trying to make this, right from the beginning, it was targeted for field use. But of course, you can also run it on your desktop or your laptop. It runs entirely offline, and it connects to the internet when you have a connection available to check for updates for the new weather files and for program updates. And it uses the Audit Wizard interface to leverage data entry for speed and accuracy, whether you have build or not. We have numerous free training and support options, including bi-weekly live webinars at optimizeenergy.com. There's also a forum and recorded videos and written training and materials. And the trial is a fully functional, free 30-day trial. You can learn all about it at optimizerenergy.com.
Great. Ryan, thank you. You have at least one question already. Can you see the questions on your screen? On your question dialog for LogMeIn or for
Yes,
GoToWebinar?
I can. Yeah, so the question is, can Optimizer build packages based on savings instead of cost? Yes, that's, well, it's based on both, really. It's based on the savings to investment ratio, so, or the modified internal rate of return. So both of those incorporate savings and costs. So it would be, if you just open this file, you know, and you went to the package generator, it would be based on the NREL costs, but you can put in costs for any item, either just type it directly in or save unit costs in the database. Other questions?
Additional questions out there, folks? We have about 7 minutes left, so feel free to type in any questions you still have. Ryan, thank you again for your presentation, and we will be pitching over right at the end here to Leif Magnuson for some closing comments, and thank you everyone for your attendance. You know, we'll give it a few minutes, let people type in any questions they currently have, any questions about reporting, the reports generation, etc. It looks like one has come in, so I'll stop my babbling and let Ryan answer.
Great, yeah, thank you. So the free trial and the pricing, the licensing options are available at omaudits.com. We actually have 2 websites, optimizerenergy.com for support and you know, business information. omaudits.com is our secure licensing platform. So you can go here to start a free trial, and then after that 30-day trial, there are 2 licensing options. There's a per-use license that's $25 per use, and then there's a gold license that is $150 for a month, and that includes 40 uses in the month. And then if you do more than 40 in a month, you pay $3.50 per use after that. And then the next question, is it compatible with right-stop heat load calcs? No, we actually have our own design load calculator for sizing estimates. It's not an ACCA Manual J calculation. And this is all, it's all incorporated with the model, so it, you know, it's driven off the inputs you've already have, and so it has the advantage of being bound by the utility bill analysis. If you put any bills in there, then it will, you know, incorporate that analysis into the sizing analysis. We also incorporate DOE's home energy score for qualified assessors, and we have an automatic translator that brings over inputs that you've already put in. If you're interested in that, you can contact us for more information. That does require some additional setup from us to enable it.
And to follow up on Ryan's comments, that is one of the things that we're looking at, trying to work with all 4 software vendors to add some type of functionality with integration with load calcs. Whether that you know, exactly what form that takes is what we're, you know, sort of working on, researching and discussing right now. You know, there are often California requirements along those lines, so that is an added feature we'd like to be able to facilitate in the future. I have not seen any additional questions come in yet. Ryan, do you have any outgoing comments, or should we pitch this over to Leif for some closing comments for the webinar?
Yeah, I just really appreciate everyone's attention, and thanks to the organizers. This was really great to be able to to get this detailed look. So thanks.
Well, thank you. I'd like to thank Treat and PSD. I'd like to thank Optimizer and Snug Home, as well as Cake Systems Earth Advantage for all being presenters here today. We are recording this webinar, so you will be able to go back and refer to any of it offline at your convenience. Within a couple business days, we'll get that uploaded to our website at homeupgrade.org. For any questions in the PG&E and or PG&E SoCal Gas Joint Service Territory, you would contact Build It Green at 510-285-6222 or jobs@homeupgrade.org. Or if you have a question in the SoCal Gas, SoCal Edison service territories, you would contact Dan Fleming at ICF. For questions in the SDG&E territory, you would contact Jim Frank at RHA. And feel free to contact us anytime with questions or comments about the webinar or anything you didn't get answered in here, and we'll pass along those in a follow-up to the participants on this morning's webinar. Leif, do we have you on the line? Leif, it looks like you might be self-muted. Okay, well, that's all right. I think we've seen a lot of good software here today, and he got us kicked off. With any questions, comments, concerns, feel free to contact us anytime. We are launching the software in April, and we will have updates for you on that shortly. Thank you for everyone's attention and comments and questions earlier on today. I appreciate your time, and we hope to see much from you soon. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.